Makers. I'm Mom Virella.
I am Yukita Cosplay.
And I'm CJ Peterson. Welcome to Magic Making Mischief. Yay! Well, and also welcome to my birthday month celebration. Yay! And it's the entire month long. So once ready for an entire month of birthday month craziness, starting with a double header this week. Ready? I solemnly swear we're up to no good. And speaking of up to no good, we're starting it, like I said, with a double header with artist William Russell. Now, before we get started, let me read this. You ready? Beneath the silence of the mountains, something ancient stirs, waiting, watching, and hungry for the light of the cursed moon. Yes, this is what artist William Russell is bringing to the world in his Kickstarter. Welcome, artist William Russell.
What's up, guys? Just a little werewolf action for you.
Jeremy Vanders has joined us today. Hello, Jeremy Vanders.
Jeremy Vanders, makers of Exclusive One since last year.
Michael Gardner is here. Hello,
What's
y'all.
up, Michael?
Hey.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited for this project. Now, this isn't the big one that's coming still, but this is a good one. I was just saying, you got to appreciate someone who loves classic monsters actually making something with classic monsters. Yeah, that's that in and of itself. You know it's gonna be good.
Super Sleuth says, "Hey, ladies and William," and my brother from another mother says, "Hey, hello, Angel." Now, this is something special though, because this particular Kickstarter and this particular Cursed Moon series is not something that you normally do, because this is something that is specifically all you, correct?
Yeah. Well, it's the creation writing of the book is, with Psycho Sal, that's my big hit horror comic that everybody's really loving. That's up to issue 8. That one, I wrote all the notes for every issue, everything, the details that needed to happen, but I'm not a writer per se. So, I brought Chris Hayes and Lori Calcaterra on that series, who are professional writers, to help convert all my chaotic notes into scripts. And then over the last 5 or 6 months, I've been working on what's up, Trevor? I've been working on Cursed Moonlight, and of course I'm a big classic horror movies fan from the 1930s and 40s. So I knew I wanted to do a one-shot style comic. So the entire script and stories written by me, and Arturo is doing the interior art for me, because I just, between Psycho Sal and everything else and all the traveling and all the other covers for publication, I just wouldn't have time to do it. So he's helped out with that. But yeah, fully written by me. I've got 4 daughters, and this particular book has 2 of my daughters versus Victoria and Olivia, my twin daughters. So it's them versus a werewolf in the Appalachian Mountains in present day. So
okay, well, let's take a look at it, because me and my technical skills going on back here. Let's take a look at it. You got 5 days. You're already over goal, which is awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and the book, for those that we do things a little different with us, the book's already 100% complete.
Oh,
so
nice.
So as soon as the Kickstarter ends, it goes to print within about a week and a half.
Nice.
Okay, so let's check out the story. You said joined twin sisters Olivia and Victoria, which is just what you were talking about. So can you give us a little bit more into that?
Yeah, so I wanted to do. I've got 2 short stories that are coming. They're one shots, so that way it's easy for everyone to collect. And plus, it wasn't a super time sink for me trying to write a script. So on this one, they decide to do a getaway. They want to go to the mountains. I'm a big mountain person, so I love, everything from the Smokies all the way up through the Appalachian Mountains. I've been to a good bit of it. And so I knew I wanted to do that. I knew I wanted to do a throwback to classic horror. That's why the interiors are actually black and white. So it's a throwback to that old genre style. Yep. And, I wanted to create something. you know, when you get to read the book, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I wanted to go back to that classic 80s feel also, where you have these strong, just independent, bad booty people.
Bad to the bone.
Baddies.
Yeah, you know, so I wanted to go back to that. So it's not, you know, it's not some over the top where you're trying to beat down someone else's way of being, but they're just strong and awesome in their own right. And you know, the book is pedal to the metal from the first page to the last. I mean, we didn't waste a lot of time with a lot of dialogue. We didn't waste a lot of time with a lot of side stories or anything like that. It's just straight to the point within the first page, 2 pages, and it's just pedal to the metal to the end, though.
Okay.
Nice.
Angel says producing comics is difficult. How difficult is that? I have many comics I've made, written, and illustrated, even novels still coming.
Nice. I mean, it's definitely tough. It's a lot of moving parts. It's expensive, you know, unless you're someone that is, you know, able to do the majority of it yourself. Yes, that will save you a ton of money. But now you're stretching out the time frames. You know, I knew with me, with like Psycho Sal, we have one of the fastest producing indie books on the market, and we're dropping 4 books a year. And that's extremely fast for indie books. And we're doing it at top quality. So the writing is great. The art is great. The production is great. The printing is great. We do everything US based businesses. We do not print in China or any of that, which costs us more money. On average, you know, you've got the production and everything. You could be spending anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 per book. So like with Psycho Sal and Cursed Moonlight, I fully fund my books before we ever turn the Kickstarter on. So I've already spent anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 on my books before the door ever opens for the Kickstarter. And then you're just praying that everyone shows up and shows support, and you can recoup the money you've already invested. But then you have all the promoting and dealing with guest cover artists. You know, even on Cursed Moonlight, we've got 6 covers on that one. I did 4 covers, 2 black and white, 2 colors. I brought Michael Gardner on, who did a color cover. Arturo, who did the interiors, did a cover, black and white cover for it. And then, you know, we got a lot of cool goodies and stuff, you know, on the Kickstarter for the tiers and things like that. Even a Werewolf Hunters kit. So
where did you get the idea for it?
I just being a big fan of classic horror. I mean, it's, you know, there's been movies where you've, you know, stories and movies where you've had werewolves in cities and all that kind of stuff, or in, you know, older time frames and stuff. And that's all cool. But it basically just stems from my love of the mountains, and then, you know, wanted to do something really cool with my daughters, and, you know, having them kind of involved in it a little bit. You know, we've got another one that I'm writing right now for the next book, and we actually let the fans vote on that one. My other 2 daughters, Ashley and Shelby, it was either them versus a vampire in the 1700s or them versus a mummy in the 1920s in Egypt. And so the Egypt story won by a major, like, landslide. So that'll be the next one.
That's what I love about being an author, is you can like immortalize your family. And I think that's a really cool aspect. Angel wants to know, maybe a secret, but who do you use for publishing? And Trevor wants to know who comes up with your storyline.
I do the storylines. I've got tons of ideas in my head. It's just trying to get it out on paper is the hardest part. Like, I felt so bad for Chris and Lori when we first started working on Psycho Sal, because I had just notes on top of notes. Who's involved, what needs to happen, what's the mood, what's the setting, because we broke several molds when we did Psycho Sal that hasn't been done in comics, and I think that's one of the reasons it's been such a big hit for fans. As far as publishing goes, I publish, we self-publish, so I pay for all my own publishing and everything, but as far as under an umbrella, I'm under Charter Comics, and Chris Hayes and them runs Charter Comics. We got a lot of great titles under that label also, and they're a great group of people. So,
oh, awesome, very cool.
So now, are we talking like Gypsy Curse style werewolf here, like the symbol on the hand? Are we going true classic?
Well, it's definitely a true classic, because I don't like the concept of like the way they redid the Wolfman recently with this whole virus kind of thing. Sorry, spoilers. You should have seen it by now if you're going to watch it. But I don't like that. So I love the classic. We don't really dig into that in the book because it's just a one shot. So all you get is all the action, from how it starts to how it ends. Now, whether I might revisit that later on with a bit of backstory, possibly. I definitely think there's some backstory there to tell, of course. But I don't know. But it's definitely more of the curse style instead of a virus style. So,
Gotcha.
Very cool.
See, I'm excited about this. I like werewolves.
I
When
do
it came
too.
to Team Jacob and Team Edward, I was Team Jacob because he doesn't want to hang out with a dog.
Yeah,
the good thing is that
I'm
with
more
that one-
werewolf than vampire too. Sorry, Mommy.
Not sorry.
Not sorry. Not
you're
really.
gonna upset anyone
Here, but
with
I
that
was
one.
jealous when I saw your Bella tattoo, the Bella Lugosi, not Bella.
Oh.
No.
I was like, Bella, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's the most recent.
Yes.
Okay. That is
The good one. I used
Yeah.
that name the other day, and somebody goes, "Oh yeah, I like her too." And I'm like, "Oh, shut the heck up!" No, no.
She's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I can totally
this
act
one-
like her.
I think this one's going to be a
You
nice
shaking
little
ketchup bubble.
holdover. So, you what? Sorry.
Oh, that was me shaking the ketchup bottle.
Oh.
From Twilight.
for dinner.
Wait. I got one better.
What is that? Okay, listen.
You're drinking the water and it just spills into the sink. And I was like, what was the point of these scenes? Why'd y'all make me watch this?
Oh,
My
okay.
sister's made me
Okay,
watch
Bella
it.
was
There you
not
go.
my fault. All right, I was an Alice fan from that one. But anyway, regardless,
I loved Alice. I did like Alice. That's
I
like
did too.
one of the only vampires that I actually did like in that movie.
she was like literally the best one.
So I
Alice
was
and
more for the
Jasper, that's
werewolves.
it.
I was more for the werewolves, though. How much history and lore did you use? Angel wanted to know.
I mean, it's set in current time, so I didn't have to go into like a whole lot of history lore just for that particular one shot. Now, of course, it is scenery accurate for Appalachian Mountains and what the forest and everything tends to look there. Even the cabin is more along the lines of the way the cabins are built there, because it actually does matter. The cabins built in the Rockies are completely different than the style of cabins that are built in the Appalachian Mountains. Similar, but they are different. The scenery is similar, but definitely different. So all of that is definitely played in there. Like I said, depending on how the book is received and everything, which is doing really well right now. But one thing you guys always need to keep in mind if you ever decide to do horror comics, it's an extremely hard niche market to do. There's a reason we haven't seen horror comics since really the 70s up until The Walking Dead kind of, kicked it off a little. And then we've seen a little bit since then because, you had the creation of the Comics Code and all that stuff back in the 80s or whatever.
Backslash.
Yep. So that killed most horror related stuff.
Okay.
Every once in a while, we'd see some independent companies through the 90s that threw out a few things with Jason or Freddy, but even they didn't really pick up. So keep that in mind. You're usually not going to be doing $30,000, $40,000 Kickstarters with horror. As long as you can get, around that 10K mark, you're doing pretty well. But it is one of those things you got to be mindful of that. So you want to try to pick something that, in my opinion, is kind of rich with lore and kind of plays into what the market says.
Something that has a niche following already, basically.
Yeah, you kind of do. And that has helped. Me setting the table with Psycho Sal has definitely allowed Curse Moonlight to do better than possibly what it may have done.
Oh, definitely from scratch. One thing Jeremy does says he's Team Count Chocula.
Yep.
So I don't have it on here. So William, what is your actual website?
Oh, it's www.artofwilliamrussell.com.
Okay, can you spell that out real quick for those who are listening?
Yeah, www.artofwilliamrussell.com.
That's
Okay, and Russell.
ARTOFWILLIAM.
Right there on my name.
SELL.
Awesome, perfect. But some of these are audio, so I want to make sure that I got those too.
Two S's, two L's, and
So
Russell.
thank you so much for sharing it. The Kickstarter is in the link, and it also is running across the screens for those who are watching, and it will also be in the description for those who are listening. Tomorrow we have, as I said, this is a doubleheader week. Tomorrow we're going to have Tammy Aaron, aka Pippi Longstocking.
Is that what you were
Mommy
doing?
just said
Okay.
Pippi Longstocking.
Pippi
gonna have her
Longstocking is
tomorrow night
sliding into our podcast.
We'll be sliding in tomorrow night. So super excited to have her. Looking forward to having her tomorrow night at 7:00. Tammy, Aaron, Pippi Longstocking. William, thank you for sharing about the Curse and Moonlight for tonight. Join in his Kickstarter and check it out. Hit the link, as I said, is in the comments. It is also in the description. So check it out and join in. Thank you for joining us. Mombi, take us out.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
We'll have
Appreciate
you
it.
back once the Kickstarter's taken off to tell us more. So until next time, guys, make sure to smash that thumbs up and share this out. Also, make sure you are following CJ Peterson on TikTok and the YouTubes and Mombirella on YouTube, as well as, of course, follow them geeks on YouTube and Yukita Cosplay with her awesome closet cosplays on Instagrams. And check out William Russell stuff. Of course, he's got the Art of William Russell group as well, and he shares lots of updates for all his projects, and you want to keep up with those. Till next time, guys, mischief managed. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.